It's bad. It's not good. But his eye is a little bit more closed than it was.
Dana White hates Tom Aspinall. I can't unsee it. It seems like every time I look at an interaction with those two.
A few days has passed and he still can't see. Of course he couldn't see on the night. He still can't see now.
Tensions are boiling over in the fight world as Tom Aspinall's father unleashes a furious message aimed directly at Dana White and the UFC. His explosive remarks call out what he sees as blatant disrespect and mismanagement, demanding accountability and immediate action from the organization. To begin with, Andy Aspinall spoke out with visible frustration, expressing how unfair it feels to watch his son suffer the consequences of an incident that wasn't his fault. He highlighted the emotional toll on Tom, emphasizing that the other fighter walks away unaffected while Tom faces the aftermath, uncertainty, and potential long-term impact from a situation that should never have happened.
I'm just bothered that my kid's got a job that he likes and he wants to do it, and he's been fouled in a contest. The guy who fouled him, no consequence to him, and now there's a consequence to Tom. And hopefully it'll be all right, but it might not be.
Moving forward, Andy's frustration only deepened as he described how devastating it was for the entire team to see Tom in such pain and unable to continue. He emphasized that fouls should have consequences, stressing the emotional weight of the situation and questioning why the UFC hasn't updated its rules to protect fighters from serious, career-threatening incidents like this.
From our side, it was horrendous. Because our main guy, who we all work with and round and are with every day, couldn't see, and you saw the mood he was in. So upset and so grieved. And Cyril, I'm sure, the same, but he fouled. There's a consequence, or should be consequence, to fouling, and he's not got a consequence. And I'm not saying he should have. The UFC have got some rules that what will it take to change those rules? Will it take somebody's eye being poked and falling on the floor? I don't know if that's a thing. I'm sure it's not, but what does it take?
Furthermore, Andy Aspinall went on to question whether financial interests are preventing the UFC from making necessary safety improvements. He pointed out that even changes as simple as improving glove design could make a difference, referencing older models from Pride. From his perspective, the sport urgently needs adjustments to prevent the kind of unfortunate incident that derailed Tom's recent fight.
Is it the money that, people won't watch the fights because they're not as exciting, because the gloves are not as good? I don't know the answer. The old Pride gloves were different, but something, from my point of view, needs to be done in the sport to stop happening what happened on Saturday night in Tom's fight.
Building on that, Michael Bisping defended Tom Aspinall, making it clear that he was the one wronged in the situation, not the aggressor. He explained that the eye poke was accidental, emphasizing that such fouls are rarely intentional in MMA. Bisping also referenced Dana White's uncertain response at the post-fight presser, pointing out the difficulty of judging intent in these unfortunate moments.
Here's the situation. Everyone needs to shut the hell up, because Tom Aspinall was the victim of a foul. He wasn't the guy that went out there and fouled Cyril Gane. It was unintentional, and Dana White was asked about that at the post-fight presser. How do you determine unintentional versus intentional? His response was, I don't know.
No matter what you do with the glove, they're going to happen.
And the reality is, how do you do that? Okay, unless you know Cyril Gane says beforehand, I'm going to foul him, I'm going to poke him in the eye. Unless you hear someone say that, it's always unintentional. I don't think any fighter means to poke somebody in the eye.
Following that, Bisping continued by reiterating that Tom Aspinall was clearly the victim of an illegal move, reminding everyone that eye pokes are a foul regardless of intent. He acknowledged Cyril Gane's skill and integrity, but emphasized that the slow-motion replays showed just how severe the poke was. The incident, he noted, has naturally sparked widespread debate across the MMA community.
He's the guy that's been fouled. Poking people in the eye is not allowed. That is a foul, okay? So it was Cyril Gane's fault that this happened in the first place. Again, I'm not criticizing Cyril Gane. I thought he looked really good. He's an honorable guy. He's a great fighter. I've got tremendous respect for him. But the fingers were out. They caught him. And as we saw on the slow-mo several times, it was deep. It was knuckle deep. And of course, everybody's got an opinion on this.
On another hand, Andy Aspinall gave a worrying update on Tom's condition, revealing that his vision remains severely affected after the incident. He explained that Tom's right eye is still unable to see, with only gray visibility, while the left eye is also significantly impaired. The medical test confirmed just how serious the damage is, leaving everyone deeply concerned about his recovery.
He kind of basically did the same as the guy that we saw over there, said, it's bad, it's not good. But his eye is a little bit more closed than it was. His right eye still can't see anything. He said it's just grey. And they tested him on words and he just couldn't see anything. His left eye, 50%, he went down about 4 letters and then couldn't see the letters. So one's really, really blurry and one's still not working.
Similarly, Bisping responded strongly after hearing Andy Aspinall's update, shutting down the claims that Tom might be exaggerating his injury. He made it clear that no fighter would fake such a serious situation, especially when his vision is still compromised days later. Bisping defended Tom's integrity, insisting that accusations of him looking for a way out are completely unfair and disrespectful.
So that's not good, okay? So given that a few days has passed and he still can't see, of course he couldn't see on the night. He still can't see now, unless we're all assuming that Tom Aspinall's lying, that he's making this up, right? Come on, that's a stretch. That's too much. That's absolute nonsense, okay? There's no way the guy's doing this. You can go home and say, right, it's been a while. He's recovered now. I'm really annoyed. Let's run the fight back. But he's not saying that. He's saying that he still can't see. And if he can't see 3 days after, I guarantee he couldn't see on the night of the fight. That's why he was saying it, okay? So saying that the man was looking for a way out, it's just not fair.
In addition, Ariel Helwani reacted to Andy Aspinall's comments with empathy, noting how serious it is that Tom still can't see properly. He highlighted that Andy's words carry extra weight because he's not just Tom's coach or manager, but his father. Helwani criticized the idea of rushing Tom back into competition, calling it absurd given the circumstances, and praised the family's openness during such a difficult time.
Again, that's Tom's father, not his coach or his manager. It's his dad, who is also his coach and manager, but most importantly, his dad. Saying that he can't see still is obviously very concerning. And you hope that he'll be able to make a recovery at some point. But that's why all this talk about, like, put him on the MSG card in December is crazy, right? It's just absolutely crazy.
Oh, man.
Anyone questioning him. And you know, PT, we live in a world where it's like the more you tell people, the more people think you're bullshitting in a weird way, right? Like, oh, look at them trying to like paint this picture. I appreciate the fact we don't get this kind of transparency from anyone. Like, most people are hiding for a week or so after something like this. So I appreciate the fact that they're putting this out, and obviously urge everyone to check out the whole thing and wish them the best.
Following that, Eric Jackman echoed Ariel Helwani's thoughts, pointing out how impossible it is to satisfy public opinion in situations like this. He explained that no matter what the Aspinall camp says, whether Tom is recovering or still struggling, critics will twist the narrative. Jackman emphasized that people are too quick to judge, leaving fighters and their families stuck in a no-win situation.
Whatever they believed going in, they're gonna double down on. If he came out and said, look, Tom's fine now, he can fight soon, they'd be like, oh, he was faking it. Now they're like, look, he's still experiencing it. They're like, oh, they're bullshitting, they're just milking it. Like,
adding on this, Wade Plemons didn't hold back, claiming there's clear tension between Dana White and Tom Aspinall. He pointed out how dismissive Dana seemed during the post-fight press conference, despite Tom being the heavyweight champion and the clear victim of an eye poke. Plemons described Dana's reaction as cold and unsupportive, fueling speculation that there is underlying friction between the two.
Post-fight press conference with Dana White, after Tom Aspinall gets poked in his eyes, and again, not his fault, can't really do anything about it, and can't continue fighting because he can't see, because both of his eyes have been poked. Dana had a, let's just say, less than supportive response, which I pointed out here. Seems pretty insane because that's his heavyweight champion of the world.
Moreover, Wade Plemons further suggested that Dana White's problems with top fighters, especially his heavyweight champions, run much deeper than money. He hinted at a pattern of tension and control issues within the organization, implying that Dana's clashes often stem from a mix of ego, power dynamics, and the way he handles relationships with elite-level athletes.
Dana White having issues at the top of the food chain, especially with his heavyweight champions, and I'm going to get into what I think is exactly why. It's not just money, that's part of it,
Furthermore, Demetrius Johnson weighed in on the situation, expressing disappointment at how quickly the MMA world turned on Aspinall after the eye poke incident. He mentioned how figures like John Jones and Alex Pereira mocked the situation online, which he found disrespectful. Johnson emphasized that Tom was genuinely hurt, not defeated, and criticized the tendency for fighters and fans to pile on when someone is down or injured.
Tom Aspinall, we talked about before, he had to win this fight. Obviously, for his legacy and for him to, not back up everything, he talked about, but like John Jones, I'll never forget what he said, here today, gone tomorrow. And the first thing I saw when I woke up was my beautiful wife. But besides that, I looked at John Jones' Instagram and I saw he changed his avatar to a duck with an eye patch. And then you have Alex Pereira sitting there watching the fight, and he sits there and goes, cut. Chama. And then everybody piles up on somebody when they're defeated or they're injured or something like that. I didn't like that feeling whatsoever for Tom Aspinall because the man did get impregnated in his eyes with those fingers.
In the same build-up, MMA Guru reacted emotionally to the incident, describing just how shocking and brutal the eye poke looked in real time. He used a signature mix of humor and frustration to paint the moment, comparing it to a bowling strike gone wrong. Beneath the sarcasm, though, his reaction showed genuine disbelief and concern over the severity of the foul and its impact on Tom Aspinall.
I'm distraught. I'm broken. I don't know how to feel about this. But Tom Aspinall, basically, Cyril Gane went bowling and used Tom Aspinall's face as a bowling ball. All he was missing was a thumb in the mouth. I swear. He had 2 fingers up top in each eye, 1 thumb in the mouth, and Cyril was about to bowl a strike with Tom Aspinall's head.
Continuing his thoughts, MMA Guru breaks down how the narrative around the fight has been unfairly twisted. He noted that many people are treating the unfortunate ending as a loss for Tom Aspinall, even though the fight ended due to an accidental foul. Guru explained that because the bout lasted longer than usual for Tom, critics are exaggerating the outcome, almost celebrating his misfortune instead of recognizing he was simply the victim of a brutal and unlucky accident.
It was a tough one to watch, but a lot happened aside from the eye poke. Unfortunately, it did end with the eye poke. And that is being seen as some kind of loss for Tom. I think the fact that this went past 2 minutes was always going to be seen as some kind of loss for Tom. So unless it went perfect for him, as it usually does, I think anything will be seen as this was the worst. Oh my God, he did terrible compared to what he normally looks like. This was a bad performance from him because it went 4.5 minutes long into the fight. So therefore that's how people are going to perceive this. But I think there's some kind of people are doing some kind of victory lap for the loss of Tom Aspinall from him being gouged in his eyes and the fight being called off, when really collectively we should be oh well.
To wrap things up, Teddy Atlas weighed in with a more technical perspective, suggesting that glove design might be the key to preventing dangerous eye pokes in MMA. He proposed creating more flexible, webbed glove that allows fighters to grapple effectively while keeping their fingers close together to reduce accidental fouls. Atlas called the incident deeply unfortunate and stressed the need for real innovation to protect fighters in the future.
So you need the use of the fingers, the hands, but there's got to be a way with a web glove, with a pliable glove that can pull the fingers together and restrict some of the eye poking, by pulling the hands together, putting them into some sort of, again, proper glove that they still can use their hands where they need to open them, but otherwise keeps them semi-closed and the fingers together to avoid some of these eye pokes. There's gotta be some way to do that.
Finally, Teddy reflected on how the fight's abrupt ending completely deflated the atmosphere, given especially the high expectations surrounding it. He noted that the no contest ruling meant neither fighter truly won or lost, making it feel like the bout never even happened. Atlas added that the fight was just beginning to find its rhythm before the unfortunate stoppage brought everything to a sudden halt.
At the end of the day, It was unfortunate. It took the air out of the room really fast. High expectation for the fight, and yeah, we picked that one. It's a no contest, so you don't lose. There's no winner, there's no loser. The fight never took place, in other words. So, but I thought we were on our way because we picked the over. The over was 1.5 rounds, and the first round was about to end, and it looked like he was going to get to the over.
At the end of the day, the Tom Aspinall and Cyril Gane incident has become much bigger than just a no contest. It's exposed a serious flaw in the system, from Andy Aspinall's emotional outrage to Bisping, Helwani, and others calling for change. One thing is clear, the UFC can't afford to ignore this any longer. Whether it's glove redesigns, stricter rules, or simply showing more respect to the athletes who put everything on the line, something needs to change because moments like these don't just end fights, they threaten careers, legacies, and the integrity of the sport itself. So what do you think? Do you think the UFC needs to take immediate action after this incident? Should Dana White and the organization be held accountable for not updating glove designs sooner? Was Andy Aspinall right to call out the UFC for their lack of consequences and fighter protection? Do you believe Tom Aspinall will ever be the same after this injury? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you're passionate about combat sports and want real takes the mainstream won't give you, make sure to hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and turn on notifications because we're breaking down every fight, every controversy, and every story that shapes the fight game.